Hey guys, Jazz here, back with another video, and today I'm going to be reacting to and reviewing Noah Films' Avengers: The Return Part 3. I have really been liking this series so far. I just got done rewatching Part 1 and Part 2, and they're both shorter. This one is a lot longer. I think it's almost 9 minutes. So this one's much longer. He worked a lot harder on this one, and let's take a look at it. I'm not going to pull punches, right? So if you want to have me react and review an animation, get ready for me to critique it. I'm definitely going to be constructive and give you ways to improve, but I'm not going to not say things just for the sake of being nice. So I'm going to watch this, I'm going to say what I like about it, I'm going to say what I don't like about it, and let's just take a look. Starting off, we've got that classic Noah Films intro with the guitar Avengers theme. Let's turn the volume down a little bit on that. Alright, and we begin with a scene of almost all mashers.
Keep firing. We have to hold him off for now. Finally, you're here.
Thor!
Well, less talking, more
Thor's back. That's awesome.
There is no hope for you.
Alright, so we start off with an action sequence. Not bad. I see he's using strings to making sure that the action figures don't just go from standing to down. For that kick, he's got to work. Something I think he should work on is not using both legs, because one of my biggest critiques with Noah Films is that he doesn't use as much of the articulation as he should. Like, action figures have a ton of articulation, especially Marvel Legends, and it needs to be utilized, and it can be utilized. So it's just a lot more difficult.
Your overconfidence will be your downfall as Guardian.
Don't think I didn't notice that Thanos, like, held Mjolnir. That was intense. And that getting up was pretty good. He used his knees a little bit, but yeah, you just gotta use your knees and your elbows a lot more. And don't use mashers.
There are no other options, but you so-called heroes just cannot see that.
I'm pretty sure Aqua Studios is playing Thor there. His impression isn't bad, but the audio quality is not the best. There's a lot of background noise.
We need backup now.
Oop, Guardians came in. There they are.
You guys again.
And then, as per usual, all of the henchmen are voiced by Noah, which is, I don't know, I don't like when the same person voices too many characters, but they're henchmen, and it's kind of like a thing for his channel now, so I'll put that as a critique, but it's not really important.
We have to help the Guardians. Take this, you big purple idiot.
His Rocket impression is pretty good. I'll say I am enjoying this a lot more than the last episode, because the last episode was almost all dialogue and exposition, with like one action sequence of Thanos just choking out the Collector. So this starts out with a huge action sequence, which is not bad.
Not as tough as I remember.
Pretty good. I think something Noah has to do is take less pictures or speed it up a lot for the action sequences, because the action is always really slow. So it's smooth but slow, which is a problem. So you would think you want it to be as smooth as possible, but if it's slow, then that is not good either. I like his drawn effects. His drawn effects are pretty good. And he keeps having these arrows come out. Sound effects are pretty good too. Ooh. Groot got him. Something else, Noah, that you gotta think is when Drax jumps, he's gotta bend his knees first, because when you jump, you don't just jump straight up, you don't levitate. You gotta bend your knees and push off, which is not just a critique for Noah, that's something I see a lot, so that's something that everyone can think about to use to improve.
I'm not going to play these games with you anymore. As long as I stand, you shall not have victory.
It's never a good thing to say.
Soon half of humanity will cease to exist. This is what we did last time. We can't let them win. We need more willpower. More people. A new weapon.
The Avengers.
I mean, you're looking right at him. Don't you have your own already? I need something even more powerful. Why can't one of us have it? You simply lack the strength to build the weapon that I need. Wait, so what kind of weapon are we talking about?
So I guess we're really following a lot of Infinity War's plot, with Thor meeting up with the Guardians, and then he decides he has to go get a new weapon from the Nidavellir.
I've heard of that place. It's the place where the most powerful and deadly weapons are crafted. I would gladly like to go. Well, it looks like the rabbit is the smartest among you. Rabbit? Well, I'm still the leader. Then maybe he should be. Iron Groot. Alright then, Tree. You seem like an asset. We could use you in the case.
Yep, a lot of Infinity War plot here with Groot and Rocket going with Thor.
Alright, Groot, let's go. You can't leave. We have to defeat Thanos. Thanos is too powerful to stop, so I need a weapon that can stand up to him. Thor, we have to protect the stones. You can call the Avengers for help. Wait, Thor. Farewell, and good luck to you. So, I guess we need to make a call.
Dang, all the Avengers are assembled. Looks neat.
Thanos is back and has a gauntlet and is after the stones? Yes, that's exactly what I'm telling you. We need to locate the stones.
Alright, now we have a bunch of main characters like Spider-Man and Doctor Strange also being voiced by the same person. So,
Where are they? As you know,
I don't know, I think we need more voice actors here.
the Power Stone is on Xandar. The Mind Stone is in an underground shield facility. The Space Stone is on Asgard. The Soul Stone is on Vormir. And the Reality Stone is with the Collector.
Nope, not anymore.
Advantage. We know where the stones are. Yeah, so we use that advantage.
The writing is pretty good in this episode. I'm liking the dialogue a lot more than I have in the past.
You guys on Xandar. Why? Apparently Thor is alive. And Groot and Rocket went with him to make some powerful weapon. So we need help stopping Thanos and protecting the stones.
So
Yes, he is, but we need
there's a lot of jumpy, like switching between hand being down at a side to hand being up. So that's something that you can work on. More frames in between there.
Nah, I wasn't listening.
Apparently Thor's alive now, and the Guardians of the Galaxy need our help.
This is definitely a cool idea with all these characters teaming up.
The Space Avengers, except, less cool.
They are trying to stop Thanos, but now
I do like the writing a lot in this episode.
We need to get some people to protect the time of Mind Stones.
I know some people.
I feel claustrophobic in here now. We'll help you with this.
Dang, all the X-Men are in here now. That's
I'll go
cool.
with the Avengers. I want a little revenge on Thanos.
Okay then. And I'm coming with the Avengers because I don't like you. No one liked you in the first place, Wade. Wow, that is so harsh. I am so hurt now. Just kidding.
Alright guys, we need to go. So, what do you show this set up with the woods?
Ooh, I like that Black Panther figure.
Still me.
Rubber Band Man. Aqua Studios as Thor. Let's take a look at this cast here. Star Wars Collector as Star-Lord. I don't think I caught that. That was good. Myself as Iron Man. Aqua Studios as Winter Soldier. I did catch that. 44th as Wolverine. Black Panther as who? Oh, 44th is Black Panther then as well. Alright, nice. I'm going to watch it one more time, and then we'll get to my review on it. Alright, now that I have rewatched Avengers The Return Part 3, I'm going to go over some of my pros and my cons on it. I'll do the cons first so that we can end on a positive high note. First off, Noah Films has to work on realistic looking fight. Alright? So this is something that a lot of people can work on. So what I'm about to say is not just for Noah Films, but for pretty much anyone watching this that is working on making their fighting look more realistic. You really have to think about what it would actually look like. So if I get punched in the stomach, right? Am I just going to fall over? Am I just going to fall over straight backwards? No. I'm going to buckle, and then I'm going to fall like I'm actually going to move, physically move back. I'm not just going to tip over. You know what I mean? When someone punches someone really hard or shoots them with a laser, that impact, they should go back from the impact and not just tip over. I talked about this during the reaction. Kicking with two legs is just looks really awkward because like the figure flips, goes from here to here, and then kicks with both legs, which I did see later in the animation. I didn't point it out, but I saw it on my second time watching. I did see Thor actually kick with one leg, so that was good. So everything that I see in Noah Films in the problem with his animations, it's not good sometimes, and it's good other times. It's just something that you gotta work on getting it good every time, if you know what I mean. So, other than that, slow animation, I talked about this as well. The punches, like, when you do a punch, right, it should be 2 frames, because you're moving so fast. Like, if you would slow down a video of someone punching something, and you would look at it frame by frame, because that's how cameras work. Like, videos are just really smooth stop motions. So if you look at how much time you actually see the punch, it's like 2 to 3 frames, depending on how quick the punch is. So if you take 7 frames for one punch, it's not going to look realistic. So that's definitely something that you can work on. I'll probably do a tutorial on punching at some point, and different kinds of punches and how many frames you should use for, depending on what kind of FPS you use. Jumpiness, there was a little bit of like, between like when someone would have their hand down and then their hand would suddenly come up in one frame. So that's like during dialogue scenes, you've got to actually move them more and take more pictures than in combat scenes. In regards to voice acting, there's some poor audio quality, and Thor mispronounced Nidavellir, which I feel like he should have been the one to be able to pronounce it correctly. Another con I want to talk about is mashers. He has a lot of mashers in especially the first scene. It's almost all mashers except for Thanos, which I know that the excuse is that they're just a bunch of nameless CGI army people, but regardless of what their purpose is, it's still mashers on screen in a stop motion, which that's a con. Mashers are not meant for stop motion. Their proportions are completely whack. Details aren't great. Paint isn't always the best. So what you need to get to a point where you have enough figures that you can kit bash and pick different heads and stuff to make an army out of figures that look good. You have used a lot less mashers than you have in the past, which is great, because it's good that you're slowly phasing out the mashers, but there was a lot in that very first scene, and it's really noticeable when it's all mashers. Those are pretty much all the cons. Nothing too bad, just the big thing is speeding it up so that it's not so slow, and a little bit more realistic movement. Moving on to the pros, punching was pretty good, as in the way that they react to the punches. So when someone gets punched, they don't just fall back, or they don't just turn like they got punched. Like, he had realistic punches in there. The drawn effects, he did a lot of drawn effects, whether it was lightning or lasers, and it looked pretty good. The arrows that were coming out of the mashers were really consistent, and the sound effects were on point. Voice acting was pretty good. All the impressions were great. It's just, like I said earlier, some of the audio quality, there was a lot of background noise. He used strings, which is very good. The strings helped so that it doesn't go from a person standing up to a person falling down. He was able to have more frames in between. And the dialogue, the writing for the dialogue was a lot better than it has been before. So, overall, I'd say this was definitely my favorite of the 3 Avengers of the Return parts so far. It was definitely an upgrade from the last 2, and I'd give it a number rating. I'd give it an 8.8 out of 10, which an 8.8 is solid. B+, that's good. just because of a lot of the different things that I mentioned. But he definitely does get props for making a longer one. 9 minutes is impressive, a very good runtime. So there you have it, my review. Definitely go check out Noah Films' Avengers: The Return Part 3. I definitely enjoyed watching it. I know if it felt like I gave a lot of complaints, but they're all pretty minor stuff except for just 2 or 3 that could definitely be worked on. Great stop motion. Link to his channel and link to the original video in the description below. I can't wait to come back and play Iron Man for Part 4. And let me know what you thought of the review. Comment down below, subscribe, turn on notifications. I'm trying to post at least once a week, sometimes a little more. This week I know has been my Stan Lee review and now this reaction. So if you give me more stop motions to react to, that would be great, because then I can get out more. These are super easy to edit and to film. So the more stop motions you give me to review and react to, the more videos I'll be able to release. I guess that's it. I'll see you guys next time. Peace.